Hello everyone, and welcome to this Amelkis XBRL training entitled, Setting Up the Taxonomy. This training is intended for Amelkis users and more largely to all those who want to know more about this standard. If you have any questions, you can contact the Amelkis support. Now let's get to the heart of the matter. As you know, your taxonomy must be an exact reflection of your financial statements, which means regular updates. In order to simplify this setup, Amelkis XBRL allows you to prepare your taxonomy on Excel and import it. To use this feature, you must adapt your taxonomy according to the Amelkis format. This template is composed of two main worksheets. The first worksheet contains all the information you need to create for your taxonomy. The worksheet extended labels allows you to assign a label to each extension. The worksheet called Original Labels contains the entire standard taxonomy. It will allow you to perform quick researches and check the syntax of the concepts you want to use. Let's go into the details of the Amelkis template. The label value column allows you to copy the labels of your tables. You will be able to visualize the correspondence with the concepts of the taxonomy that you have chosen. The element name column corresponds to the concept of the taxonomy that you have chosen for each row of your tables. For IFRS full concepts, you must use the exact name of the concepts. To name your extensions, you are free to choose the appropriate name. However, you should not use any specific characters, such as spaces, commas, hyphens, etc., and you should type a capital letter in front of each new word to make the text understandable. The prefix column allows you to tell the software if the concept is IFRS full or an extension. If it is an extension, you must write the name of the issuer name without spaces and in lowercase characters. The defined schema system ID column is used to define the role type of each concept. Although you can create your own role type, Amelkis recommends using the standard role type to create your taxonomy. The most commonly used for primary statements are 320,000 for the consolidated income statement, 420,000 for the net consolidated comprehensive income statement, 210,000 for the consolidated statement of financial position, 520,000 for the cash flow statement, 610,000 for the change in shareholder equity. The parent element name presentation column is used to attach a presentation parent to each concept. A taxonomy is built in a hierarchical way. You have the role type first, then the presentation parent, and finally the concepts. You will be able to visualize this hierarchy graphically in the Amelkis XBRL application once we have imported this file. Be aware that for each role type you have an imposed parent element name presentation, income statement abstract for the 320,000, statement of comprehensive income abstract for the 420,000, assets abstract and equity and liabilities abstract for the 210,000, statement of cash flows abstract for the 520,000, statement of changes in equity line items for the lines of the change in shareholder equity, notes accounting policies and mandatory tags for descriptive information. For the columns of the change in shareholder equity, you must keep the presentation parent defined in the standard taxonomy. To help you, we have listed all the parents in the Amelkis template. All you have to do is to look for your concept and the parent, in green, that corresponds to it. Do not hesitate to contact Amelkis support if you have any questions. The parent element name calculation column is used to indicate in which aggregate each concept falls. For example, revenue is aggregated in the profit from recurring operations. Note that you cannot define a calculation between the columns of the change in shareholder equity. The wider column allows you to attach an extension to a standard concept of the taxonomy in order to give it meaning. You must fill in a wider for your extensions except for concepts which are parent element name calculation. Also note that you do not need to fill in a wider for extensions of type member which correspond, for example, to the columns of the change in equity. The narrower columns allow you to indicate that your extension groups one or more standard concepts. The is inactive column allows you to make concepts inactive without deleting them from the Excel file. To do this, simply enter true in front of the desired concept. The balance column allows you to assign a credit or debit sign to your extensions. The ESEF standard requires you to define a direction except when you want to use the reverse function. You should know that in the ESEF regulation the management of signs is automatic for the calculation of aggregates. The reverse function allows you to reverse this automatic management to deal with exceptions and in particular the calculation that integrates the profit-loss in the cash flow statement. Indeed, the cash flow statement is in the opposite sign of the consolidated income statement. The aggregates are debit in the cash flow statement and credit in the consolidated income statement. To activate this feature you need to enter true on the line of the concept you want to reverse. This function will only be triggered when the totalizer has no accounting meaning. To illustrate this case, you can watch the second video of tagging. The period type column allows you to assign a period type to each extension. You have two types of period duration for the consolidated income statement, and instant for the balance sheet. The instance will be tagged, for example, the 31st of December 2021 and the durations the 1st of January 2021 to the 31st of December 2021. The label role column allows you to define the label you want to use for each concept. By default, we advise you to use the label type, but the taxonomy allows many other types of labels to be used. For example, total label, period start label, period end label, net label. In the standard taxonomy, investment property has, for example, three possible labels: investment property at beginning of period for period start label, investment property at end of period for period end label, total investment property for total label. This feature allows you to refine your taxonomy by choosing the label that best fits your reports. This language column allows you to define the main language of your taxonomy. In this case, N in this example for English. The order presentation column allows you to assign an order number to each concept in your taxonomy. With each new role type you have to restart the counter. The type column allows you to define the type of each extension. If you leave the column empty, all your extensions will be created in monetary item type. To create other types of extension, you just have to enter the corresponding code. You will find the list of extension types in the Amelkis template. To tag a gross margin in percent, you will need to create your extension with the type % item type. Now let's move to the Extended Labels worksheet. This worksheet allows you to assign a label to each extension. Be aware that you must define a label corresponding to the name of the concept with a space before each capital letter. The prefix column shows the prefix of your extensions. The element name column contains the name of your extensions. The label role column takes the name of the concept. The label value column allows you to define your label. The language column indicates the language of your extension. That's it. We have finished this preparation step. We will now go to the Amelkis XBRL application to import this file. To import your Excel taxonomy, you need to create an extension taxonomy. This is a copy of the standard taxonomy provided by ESMA. Select the standard ESIF taxonomy and click on Expand. Then, give a code and a label to your taxonomy. In the namespace and target namespace cells, you must use the prefix that appears in your taxonomy file. As a reminder, the prefix can be found in your taxonomy file. Then select your taxonomy. Click on Refresh. Select your Excel file and click on Start Installation. At the time of import, the application checks the consistency of your taxonomy file. In particular, the application checks that your extensions do not contain spaces or special characters. Your wider and narrower anchors exist in the standard taxonomy. Your calculations do not form a loop. Your extensions do not exist in the standard taxonomy. You do not have a duplicate in the numbering. You do not have duplicate anchors on the same line. You did not miss the standard mandatory fields: debit, credit, instant, duration. Each extension has its own label. If you wish, you can view your taxonomy graphically in the presentation link. All concepts are classified according to your financial statements. You see in green the standard concepts and in blue the extensions. In the worksheet calculation link, you can see all your calculations. As for taxonomy updates, you can re-import your taxonomy as many times as you want. The application will automatically overwrite the previous version and create your taxonomy as it is defined in your Excel file. This feature is very useful when you set up a taxonomy. It allows you to change a concept, a meaning, a calculation formula, and to immediately tag a document without redoing the whole process. Warning: updating the taxonomy deletes all the taggings made with this taxonomy. If you want to keep your previous taxonomy, you must create a new taxonomy. We are coming to the end of this taxonomy training. We invite you to discover the tagging video now.